to Nini's Texas Kitchen. Today we're going to make Black Forest Gateau. So what that is a chocolate fudge cake with chocolate buttercream frosting and cherry filling in the middle and cherry garnish on top. So what you're going to need for this recipe is 2 cups of flour, 1 3/4 cups of white sugar, 2 eggs, a 1/2 cup of shortening, 3 squares of unsweetened baking chocolate. You need 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 3/4 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 1/3 cups of water, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. That is the cake ingredients. And then I'll tell you about the ingredients to make your chocolate buttercream frosting later. So first thing it says to do is to mix in all of your dry ingredients together. So I'm going to put all these together. Goes the sugar and the baking powder, the salt, baking soda, and I'm just going to mix the dry ingredients up like so. And then once you mix that together, I'm going to put it on my stand mixer, let it do the work for me. Now I'm going to add my other stuff. Shortening of my water. And beat it for a few minutes and then add the eggs and the vanilla and the chocolate. I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees, and I have 2 9-inch cake pans that I have prepared with shortening and parchment paper. But you can do shortening and flour, butter and flour, if that's what you prefer. To prep it, water goes in. You want to mix that well until it blends and combines pretty good. And it's starting to make like a batter. As you can see, it's getting smooth. Smooth and combined really well. So now I can add a teaspoon of vanilla, 2 eggs, and my chocolate. Two eggs. And my melted chocolate. Now when you melt the 3 squares of unsweetened chocolate, don't make your cake right away and put your hot chocolate melted stuff in there with your eggs. You want to let your chocolate cool at room temperature for just a few minutes beforehand so that it's not hot when it goes in. There's substitutions that you can do if you want to use cocoa powder, but this just makes it more fudgier to use the actual baker's chocolate than to use the cocoa powder. You have to use shortening with your cocoa powder more than what's already in here. So, that rinse off. Sticks to it. Alright. Now you're going to blend this again. Start out a little bit slower and then speed up. And you want to blend it on high for about 2 minutes or so until it's well combined. That's combined. Good enough. Nice and smooth. Now I'm going to pour it into my prepared pans. I'm going to remember which way to get this off. There we go. So I got my prepared pans here. You want to put even amounts in them. So you'll need a stirrer. And then you want to pour them in. Like I said, I already have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. And a lot of people also make fresh whipped cream to garnish. So you can do that also using heavy cream if you want to. Once I get them all filled up, the amounts that I want, then I just sort of shake them a little to make sure it's all even in there. And now, put them in the oven to bake. And it said 30 to 35, but I'm going to check them at 25. When a toothpick inserted in the center comes out clean, they're ready. Alright, so we are going to let those cook and bake, and then we'll check them and we'll come back whenever they're ready. Hey yo, we're back. Our cakes have cooled. And so now we're going to make the frosting so we can decorate it. So I have my can of cherry filling, and then I have my cherries to go on top. And normally I would use fresh ones, but we didn't have any in the store, so I had to get frozen cherries. And now to make the frosting, what you need is half of a stick of butter softened at room temperature, half a cup of cocoa powder, and then you'll need about 4 cups or so of powdered sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, and like a couple of tablespoons of milk, just to mix it all together. So I'm gonna mix all that, and then I'll get ready to decorate the cake. So first, you have to cream the butter first. Get it nice and creamy, like so. Then add in your cocoa powder and mix that with your butter. always throws up little pieces of powder, cocoa powder everywhere in the air. It's starting to combine. Let's see. Alright, we've got that all mixed. Now we're going to add our powdered sugar. And this is 32 ounces, so 4 cups is half the package. So I'm just going to get it, and I can put half of it in there. And keep that out, just in case you get it too runny, you can add a little bit more to thin it down some. Now I'll put my teaspoon of vanilla in there. And just a little touch of milk. Combine it. And if I need to add more milk, I'll add more once I get it going. So start out slow when you're mixing with your beaters, because it'll and fling out your powdered sugar all over the place, and you don't want that to happen. Just a little bit more milk. I like to add it slowly because I don't want to get it too runny. You need to be you want it to be a little firm, because that way it'll hold up better whenever you decorate with it. I just like to add it a little at a time. And it's really starting to combine now. Tiny bit more milk. Not much. Altogether, it might be 1/3 of a cup of milk or so. That's a good. And there's our buttercream, chocolate buttercream. So these out of the way. Now the next step is I have my first tier on top of my serving plate. So now I'm going to put a thin layer of icing all around it. And I just sort of dollop it on like so. spread it out. And you don't want it too thick in the middle because you gotta leave like a little well to put your cherries in. You want more on the edges. Like so. And then you want to put some around the edge of your cake. On the sides. Like this. And then in a minute I'm gonna do a little bit of piping, and I'm not an expert on piping, so you'll have to bear with my piping skills or lack thereof. But it'll still taste good, even if they're not the prettiest piped little rosettes ever. All right. Okay. So I've got all the way around. Now, get this out of the way. I already have my piping bag ready, and I already have my tip on here, and I think this is a number 10. This is a number 10.5 fluted edge. So now a spoon and put some in here. Try to get it down as close to the bottom as you can when you do that part. Okay, now fold this up on the end like so, and then squeeze it down. And hold it over your icing bowl. All right, now I'm gonna twist the end so it don't come back out on me. And then I'm just gonna make little decorative little dollops. I don't know what you call them. Around the edge. And this is going to help hold in my cherries. And you can undo it and you can squeeze it down some more like so. And then wrap it back up and keep going. All right, so there's my edge. Now I take the cherry pie filling, and you can use fresh ones if you want and make your own, but I just wanted to do it this way today. So put it in the center like so. You get a nice even layer. You don't want it doubled up, so just single layer of the cherries. In the middle. Like that. You don't have to use the whole entire jar. You can just put enough to cover. There we go. That is good enough. And it used about half of it. Now, take your other layer and lay it on top of that one. Like so. And do the same process. So I'm gonna move this out of the way. And if you need more frosting, you can always make more if you make it yourself than if you buy it. Plus, the kind that you buy sometimes is a little thin, and it spreads easily, but it doesn't always hold its shape when you try to decorate a 2-layer cake. Now for this layer, you aren't worried about having a little well in the center because you're not putting that pie filling kind of cherries in there. You are just gonna put some of your decorative ones on the top. Your regular fresh cherries. Smooth it out, and there's a trick to getting it even smoother, but I'm not gonna worry about that right now. The trick is, if you are going to decorate a cake and you want your finished edges to be like super ultra smooth, and you have a glass of water and you dip and shake your knife out of the water, and then you go back over real gently over the edge, and it will make a smooth edge. But I'm not going to worry about that today. And you could also take some heavy cream and make your own whipped cream and put little whipped cream dollops on the top. But I'm not worried about that right now. Just want to finish icing it. All right, now let's see if I have enough of this to put more rosettes in. I might have to end up making more icing. I hope not. I'll make do with what I got. Scrape my bowl down to get more to put in my bag. Because I can make little tiny ones. Icing bag back out. Open it up. Scrape it all the way down. All right. Now, I'm gonna do the same thing. Push it all down here. And you wanna try to get air bubbles out. But sometimes it's not that easy. Because I don't wanna waste any of mine. I have to put it back in here again. So now I'll just do little dollops. Hopefully doing little ones that will go up all the way. See, that's the air bubble. That's what I was telling y'all. And my ones in the middle, I made those dollops bigger because I had to make like a bowl for my cherries so they're not sliding around everywhere. But on top, I ain't worried about that. I just want to make it look prettier. So push it down, like so. twist, twist. All right, finished dolloping. All right, now let's decorate with our cherries. And really, I want to squeeze these between some paper towels because I don't want that much liquid in there. And I've already drained them once, but when they're frozen like this, that's what you get. You don't want all that extra liquid on your cake. So just lay them on paper towel, like so. And squeeze gently. You don't want to smush them. Just help get a little bit of extra juice out. And it would be so much prettier if they were fresh, but we don't have any. Imagine how pretty it would be with fresh ones. It would be so pretty. These cherries aren't that pretty, but they taste really good because I ate one earlier. After I thawed it. And of course they've been these are pitted. If you put fresh ones, you could just wash them really good and leave the stems on. And people could pull their stem off when they ate their cherry. Man, I didn't even count. I just kind of eyeballed it. And it worked! Yay! All right. If I had more frosting, I would like go around the center edge, but I don't, so I'm not gonna worry about it because it's already got a lot of frosting and sugar on it. So anyway, this is the Black Forest Gateau, my version. There's been prettier ones in the world for sure, but it's gonna taste delicious and you can't beat that. So if y'all like my video making Black Forest Gateau, please like it, share it to others, subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you guys watching. Don't forget to go back and watch my other videos. We'll see y'all next time in Nini's Texas Kitchen.